All right, let's dive right into one of the most puzzling parts of the book of Revelation, the second beast. It's an absolute maze of symbolism, and in this explainer, we're going to try and unpack what's really going on in verses 11 through 15, looking at it through a really specific historical lens.
So, right out of the gate, verse 11 throws this incredible image at us. It has horns, like a lamb. Instantly, you're thinking innocence, right? Gentleness, even sacrifice. All the stuff you'd normally connect with true religion. On the surface, it looks completely harmless, maybe even holy.
But then it opens its mouth, and the voice that comes out is the voice of a dragon, a classic symbol of evil, deception, and raw power. So right there, you have this complete mismatch, this total contradiction. How can something look so pure but sound so sinister? That's the puzzle we're here to piece together.
To start cracking this case, our first major clue is where this beast comes from. The text says it rises up from the earth, and trust me, that one little detail is a huge key to unlocking this whole thing.
You know, when you're reading Revelation, where something comes from is everything. It's all symbolic. So the fact that this beast comes from the earth, well, that immediately tells us it's fundamentally different from that other beast, the first one we read about just a few verses earlier.
Okay, check this out. It's really a tale of two beasts. The first one, which is often seen as the Roman Empire, comes up out of the sea. Think of the sea as the big, wide world of non-Jewish nations. But our beast, the second one, it comes from the earth. And in this specific context, the earth is basically a code word for the land of Israel itself. So what does that tell you? This isn't some foreign enemy crashing the gates. This is an inside job. And suddenly, that first puzzle we talked about starts to make a whole lot of sense. Those lamb horns, well, that's the outside stuff, the religious window dressing. We're talking about the temple, the priesthood, the whole religious system. But the dragon's voice, that's what's really going on inside. It reveals a hidden loyalty. It's speaking for someone else. It's speaking for Rome.
All right, so if this beast is an internal power, you've got to ask, where does it get its muscle? And the answer is, well, it's not its own. Not really. It's basically a puppet, borrowing its power from a much, much bigger player on the world stage.
So, who exactly are we talking about here? According to this historical take, the second beast represents the leadership running things in Israel right around 65 to 70 AD. This means the established powers, the priesthood, the Herodian rulers, the puppet kings, and some key influential members of the Sanhedrin, which was their high council. And here's the kicker. Their power wasn't from God, not at all. It came straight from Rome. The high priest, the local leaders, these guys were essentially handpicked by the empire. They kept their jobs because Rome said they could, not because God did. Their power was on loan from the first beast. And look, this wasn't something that just popped up overnight. Jesus himself called this out years earlier. He absolutely blasted the religious leaders for this exact thing, using their God-given authority not to serve God, but to trap people in a corrupt system that was really serving Rome's agenda. Okay, so you've got this corrupt leadership propped up by Roman power. But how do you get the everyday person on the street to buy into it? How do you sell it? Simple. Deception. You make your political agenda look like it's coming straight from God. And the way the text describes it is just wild. It says the beast makes fire come down from heaven. I mean, that is a huge PR move, right? It's designed to make everyone think of the great prophet Elijah, to make them believe that this leadership has a direct hotline to God. But just like with everything else in Revelation, you have to stop and ask yourself, are we talking about literal fireballs here? Priests calling down actual fire from the sky? Or is this a powerful symbol for something else entirely? Well, this way of reading it says it's 100% symbolic. The fire from heaven isn't literal fire. It's the leadership's toolkit for control. You've got these fiery manipulative sermons to get the crowds all whipped up. You've got huge public religious shows designed to create a sense of awe. And then the biggest weapon of all, the threat of excommunication. Getting kicked out of the religious community back then, that was like social death. It meant you lost everything. So all this manipulation, all this symbolic fire, it was all leading to one thing. It was all about getting the people to build an image of the first beast, of Rome. And if you said no, the price was steep. It was absolute.
Now, this is so important to get. When the text says image, don't picture a big golden statue. That's not it at all. The image is the system. It's the whole political and governmental machine of the Roman Empire. The leadership was trying to remake their own nation into a mini Rome, forcing people to adopt Roman laws, Roman structure, and Roman loyalty. And verse 15 gives us this chilling, three-step playbook for how this new Roman-style system would lock down its power. First, it's given life. That means it gets real political teeth. Second, it speaks. It starts making laws and issuing decrees. And third, it uses that power to order the execution of anyone who won't worship it, which really just means anyone who refuses to bow down to its total authority.
I mean, just try to put yourself in their shoes for a second. The choice was just brutal and stark. You either go along with this Roman system that your own leaders are jamming down your throat, or you get persecuted, maybe even killed.
So let's pull all these threads together. When you look at it through this historical lens, this second beast stops being some kind of sci-fi monster from the distant future. Instead, it becomes this incredibly powerful, timeless warning about what happens when religion and political power get tangled up. So the bottom line of this interpretation is this. The second beast was the compromised leadership in first-century Israel. It looked like a lamb. It had all the religious symbols on the outside, but it spoke with the voice of a dragon, doing Rome's dirty work right up to the very end. And that leaves us with a pretty haunting question, one that is just as real today as it was nearly 2,000 years ago. How often do we still see political power dress itself up in the clothes of religion to get people to do what it wants? It's something to think about, for sure.